So good morning, guys. We are going to see today about the inheritance. So hope probably you have learned inheritance in C++, or maybe if you are aware. So if not, we are going to see that what is the inheritance and how we use in the Java program, and we'll see some examples and the types of inheritance. So these are the topic we are going to cover. So let's start with inheritance. So when we have talked about the Java buzzword or even the features of OOPS, so we all very well know that about that we have talked about inheritance. So what is the inheritance? A very simple meaning: the one class properties will be in another class. So like example, like child, that is the parent properties will be there into the child. So there will be one called as superclass, one will be called as subclass. So let's proceed with that. So what is inheritance in Java? So we all know very well about this. It is a mechanism, or you say it is a process by which one class acquires the properties. What are the properties are there? That data members and functionalities, that method of another class. So if you are defining in any class the properties and methods, that is properties and functionality, data member and your methods, so whatever the functionality, whatever the properties are there, so that will be acquired in another class. This is called as your inheritance. So the idea behind is inheritance in Java is that you can create new classes that are built upon existing classes. That will be built upon an existing class. So whatever the existing class is there, because we are taking the properties from the another class, so that new class will be built upon the existing. Okay. So whatever the existing, even there are several classes which is already defined, even you can use the features, that is the properties and method, into your another class. So when you inherit an existing class, you can reuse method and the field of parent class. So in another way, you can say that the inheritance, that means in Java we have the reusability concept. That means wherever you have created the class, you can use anywhere. You can access that class to any other classes. So you can reuse that methods into the parent classes. Moreover, we can add new methods and fields in your current class also. That means the new class what you have created, in that also you can create the new methods, the data members. So whatever add-on you want, you can add also. It's not like that we cannot add the features, that is the functionality and properties into the new class. You can add also. So what is that? Inheritance is one of the cornerstones of object-oriented programming, because it allows the creation of hierarchical classification. So what is the meaning of this hierarchical classification? So when we seeing about types of inheritance, then you will see that how it is hierarchically classified. So when we see about the types of class, maybe we will be having like single inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, multi-level inheritance, hybrid inheritance. So these are the hierarchical that inheritance will be having. So it will be allowing the hierarchical classification. So generally what is called as superclass? What is called as subclass? What is that? So a class that inherited is called a superclass. That means what is the subclass? Okay. So subclass where you are defining the properties, the methods, everything, and that method, this class will be called as your subclass. And when this method will inherit, that means it will go to in another class, that another class is going to use this subclass feature, then that will be called as your superclass. And this subclass is the specialized version of superclass. So it inherits all the instance variable and methods defined by the superclass, and it add its own unique element. So whatever the instance and variable you are defining, you can define into the superclass, and you can new also methods, instance variable, whatever you want, you can do it also, as I already mentioned. Okay, so let's see next. Why use inheritance in Java? So what is the benefit, why we are going through the inheritance concept? So there is one thing, method overriding. You can use method overriding and code reusability. What is the meaning of code reusability? That means you can use the code whatever you have wrote. So if you have created the 1000 lines of program, then you want some code of that program to be used in another, even you can use that. This is called as code reusability. So your time saving will be there. The earlier code is executing, so even you can write new functionality and you can proceed. So that is the benefit of the code reusability. So what are the terms you are going to use? So as I mentioned, subclass or child class. So what is the subclass? Subclass is a class which inherits the other class. It is also called as derived class or extended class or child class. So there is different name also. Remember guys, derived class, extended class or child class. Now what is the superclass? That superclass is also called as parent class, and this superclass is the class from where a subclass inherits the features. Okay, so from where it's inherits the features, it is called as your base class. You can call it parent class also. Okay, so what is the syntax of inheritance in Java? Okay, so it's very simple. You have a similar way, you write the class, then subclass name you are going to write, and you are going to extend the superclass name. So whatever the method you have defined in superclass, that will be extended into the subclass. So and method and field whatever you want. It's a similar how earlier we used to declare the class, simply class name and the method and fields. But here, because we are going to acquire the properties of one class into another class, so you are going to write the extends. So extend is the keyword which is defined in Java. So you can use the extend keywords and you can inherit the properties into subclass. So that is the syntax. So remember one more thing. In the exam, if they ask what is inheritance, or if they say define inheritance, explain the types of inheritance with programming example. So what you are going to do? Mostly again I am repeating everyone. Please write what is the inheritance, what is the use of inheritance. Then you must write the syntax. If you are not writing this syntax, then your marks will get reduced. You should write this syntax, then give a small example, class B extend A or class A extend A, some method and field. That's all, that is the example. So you should write this. Then after you write the type of inheritance, every type you have to draw the diagram and then you have to write the example. Okay, so hope you understood this syntax. So let's see next example. So what will the example? A very simple program. We will create an employee. Okay, just will define a salary as a floating value. Some value you take, whatever you want you can define. So we are declaring the instance variable in the class. Okay, we have initialized salary variable as a float with the value. This class work is finished. That's all I want. I don't want any other feature to be added here. Now what happened? I am going to create a new class, that is the program, and we are going to extend the features in the class employee. So what I am going to do? We will use extends. Which class properties we are going to inherit? So employee. So you should write extend employee. Okay. So what will happen now? Whatever the properties is defined into the employee, it will get added into the class program. So here we are declaring new method. As we have seen that we can add new properties or method, data, whatever we can add into the new class. So we are initializing one variable, that is the bonus. Now create the main method. Similar way, public static void and a string argument. Okay, so same way you create the main method. Then what you have to do? You have to create an object. So how to create the object? Similar way, you know that. So object need to be created for the main class. That what is the main class? This is the programmer. So programmer object name, I am writing P, is equal to the new keyword and the programmer as a class. So it will create a object. Now what you are going to do? We are going to access the value which is available into the another class. So system.out.println, so printing method, programmer's salary is, so same way. So what is the object name? P, because you are going to access those object with the P. Dot, what is the salary? Salary is employee salary. So this salary is defined into this. So what happened now? The features of this has already extended in this. So you can access the properties into the subclass. Then you want the bonus. So similar way, P dot, that is your object name, dot bonus. Okay, and close it. It's very simple example for the inheritance. So let's execute and see what output we are going to get on the screen. Okay, so what happened here in the inheritance, what example we have seen now. So what happened now, we have a class that is your employee, right? So this is your one class employee, right? So in this class you have the class name, you'll be having a data. Okay, so that is your employee, right? So this is your class, right? In that what we have done, we have declared a variable, that is the salary. So salary is a what? That is float. So this is your one class. class. Now you have another class, right? We have another class. In this class, we have the another variable. What is that? Bonus. So this class name is programmer. Okay, and we have the variable as a bonus, as an integer. So now what happened? We are going to use the inheritance. So how this extends will be there? So this will extend, as we know that it requires. So how it extends? So this is your extend. So we are extending the features of employee into the programmer. Okay, this is the programmer is what? It is your subclass. Okay, and employee is the superclass. So that is the, and this how the relationship between the two class, and this relationship will be called as a is a relationship. Remember this. So what happened here? Programmer is a employee relationship. So programmer is a employee relationship. Okay. So this is the relationship called as this between these two class into the program. So in inheritance, it support is a relationship. Remember one thing. Okay, it is open. Okay. So same way, what we have happened yesterday, we have seen that, right? So we have created already the my project directory and src. So in src only we are going to do. So right click, create a new file. Okay. What is the file name? Should be programmer.java. So many errors, you know why? Because it's the just space and other things are there. Better we can write this program, so then we'll not get error. Otherwise it will be keep giving error. Okay, so we'll write this program. So what is that? First we have to create as a class. What is the class name? That is the employee. Okay, so always have habit of this after, so opening brace and closing brace should be there. Then inside you write it. So what is that? Our float, we have defined salary. Salary is equal to some value. Okay, so that's all from this class. Sorry, this. So even if you do the mistake, it will give you the immediately the error. Okay, that's all. Now we have to create the subclass. So we have created the superclass. Now what is the subclass? The subclass will be similar way class. What is the new class name? That is the programmer. Okay, And what you are going to do? We are going to use extends keyword. Which class you are going to extend? That is your employee. So opening brace and closing brace. See, no error, it is showing that. So next we have to proceed. So what is that? We have another data, that is the bonus is equal to some value. So what the value will define? Some 10,000. No error. Now what we have to do? So this is the your instance variable, global variable. So it is, now we have to declare as a main method. So what is the main method? We know public static void main string arguments. Okay. Now we have to create the object. So what is the class name? Programmer. Object name will give P is equal to new. Is equal to new. Programmer. We have created the object. The object creation is done. Now what we have to give? We have to use the printing statement. So as you write sys and give the control space in the Eclipse, it will give you the options. So what is that? We have to use system.out and enter. So automatically it will take system.out.println. This is the shortcut. So what we are going to print? We are going to print here programmer salary is. Programmer salary is. So what you are going to do? Plus, what is the object name? P dot salary. Done. This is, see, it is showing also salary float employee, from which class we are extending. So similar way, another, because we have to print another bonus value. Similar way, bonus of programmer is. Okay, you can give the similar way, object name dot your, see, when you click P dot, so what are the things, that means the variable you have declared into your programmer, it will show you. So after writing the dot, see, dot, it will show you. So we are going to call it as a bonus. See, automatically it's taking, that's all. So now already the everywhere the opening and closing brace is there. Save it. We'll click right click, run as Java application. You can see that it's launching program. You can see here we are getting the output. So this way you can create inheritance and you can use the features of superclass into subclasses. You can define n number of classes into one program. So there will be one program will be having the main method. Semicolon, you are talking about the C++ programming. I am talking about this in Java concept. In Java, even did you created any semicolon when we are using the overloading in Java? See, we have created one class, right? No semicolon is given here. Similar way, here also there should program might not get executed. See, I have given the semicolon, no error. Okay, let's execute what we are going to get. See, we are getting the output, right? But especially in Java programming, okay, you can define n number of class. It is not mandatory. It is not. You should not give the semicolon. That is the one structure it is in. The basic structure of Java it is there. N number of classes you can declare inside the one program, and you can inherit the feature of the particular class into the subclasses. Okay, fine. Is it okay? That's what I'm telling. You can create n number of class. Suppose I have created this class. You will see that when we are going to further for another like types of inheritance. Okay, in the type of inheritance, I'll be having one class where you will be extending the features of this, and again in this you will declare one method. Take an example I will use as a void it. This is one method. Okay, okay, so either I'll so something will be there. Okay, in this. Now what happened? Now I want this feature also to be in another. So what I'll do? I'll again create another class. Okay. So what I'll do? I'll create as a company. Okay. Company. What I have to do now? I'll use extends. Okay. And then I will. Which class we are going to extend now? We can extend, that is the programmer. Okay. Now you can declare in another method here also. So void emp, or better always you. Okay. Now if I want another again class, okay, what the class you can declare as a state. So what I'll do? Extends company. See, so like this actually your Java program works. See, we are creating a number of classes. This property is going to inherit in this. This class property is going to inherit in this, and finally take this as your main method. So like this we have to declare. In Java this is possibility, and that's what we are going to further see, that when you see about package. So what happen? I'll create one package and keep this program in one package. I'll create another package and we will be able to use, like you have a program, take example overload.java. I want to access this overload.java program into another program. That is also we can do that in Java.